Folks, it is the long wait to Super Bowl 60. My name is Scott. It's the Terranadome here on another Friday, January 30th. And we are in that long week where there's 2 weeks in between the conference title games and the big game. We'll talk about the two conference title games, of course. And since we only have two games to really cover, and we're not making predictions or analysis for the big game until next week, we'll get into some stuff we haven't really talked about at all on this show since their season started, right? We'll talk about the Boston Bruins and the Boston Celtics, as well as an interesting firing in the NFL today of one of the general managers of a certain team. And finally, Bill Belichick snubbed on his first ever Hall of Fame ballot. We will discuss that. I've definitely got a few things to say. It's the Terranadome, and it starts right now. The first interception led to a field goal, and the second one led to a touchdown. You lost by 3. That's why you don't turn the ball over. We see it every week from multiple teams. It happens all the time, Patriots. Yeah, Pats +8, Pats money line. Book it, baby. Buffalo's going down. No. That's right. That's right. That's right. Respect the flying Elvis. Buffalo's going down. Denver money line. I like Denver money line too. I think this is the week for Philly. Denver is better than that 2-2 record for sure. It is. That's gonna be a low-scoring game over there in Philly. I think I would hammer the under on that game too.
Known as fair square throughout my years, so I growl at the living foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. Terranadome, and it starts right now. And welcome in once again, ladies and gentlemen. It might sound like I have got a cold. That is just because it is so damn cold outside that I can't keep the temperature above 65 in my living room. So it may sound like I'm under the weather when I'm actually fine. Josh Morris is back on the Terranadome as he is every week during these playoffs. Josh, how's it going?
I'm doing well, my friend.
That is good. Would you like to add on? Would you like to elaborate? Are you doing anything special this weekend?
I have my first father-daughter dance, so that's pretty cool.
How about that? That will be a proud moment.
Yeah.
I am sure. Hopefully the knee is I think the knee is a little stronger than it's been. How's the knee?
Hurts here and there, but other than that, it's time to man up and just get back to it.
Yeah, just keep doing 700 pounds on the leg press. It'll definitely help. So here we are, folks, and we've got one game left in the NFL season. Super Bowl 60 is 9 days away. And who was going to that Super Bowl, you might ask? Well, unless you were in a coma for the last 5 days, you already know. So we will, or at least I will, try to go over a short summation of what happened in both of these games, and then we will discuss. We will not give our picks or in our predictions or analysis on the big game until next week. That's what you call a big market tease. So here we go. AFC Championship game, Patriots at Broncos. Patriots were 4.5 to 4-point underdogs by kickoff. And the over-under on this game was 42.5, if I'm not mistaken. Well, they, as far as I knew, there was no snow in the forecast for Denver on Sunday, but boy, did they get snow and wind. And it was a major factor. It really was the factor in this game in the second half. There's really no two ways about it. I will not tell you the score right away, even though you probably already know. It was very low scoring. We did not get to that 42.5. But early on, it did not look good for my Patriots, boys and girls. The Denver Broncos were rolling on offense early on, and rolling is a relative term. They were able to move the ball down the field without too much problem. Thanks to a nice deep ball by Jared Stidham, mostly on one throw. They end up with a touchdown to go up 7-0 early. Patriots can do nothing with it for pretty much the whole first half. Pretty much the whole game, really. They drive, the Broncos drive the field again after a punt. It's 4th and 1. This is an early decision. It's an early point in the game, but this is a very critical decision. That was the wrong decision by Sean Payton here. It's 4th and 1. You are well within, I think it would have been like a 35-yard field goal. You're well
I think
within.
it was like the 19 or something like that.
Something like that. It was under 40-yard field goal, right? You have a backup quarterback that hasn't thrown a ball in over 700 something days as your quarterback. You have a chance to go up 2 possessions in a game that should be low scoring. 4th and 1, what does he do? Goes for it.
Ugh.
They don't get it. And this is not the first time on this day that a stupid decision on 4th down would cost a coach and his team. But anyway, they don't get it. Patriots take over. They still can't do anything. 3 minutes left in the first half from their own 33. We're going to skip like a quarter now. Broncos have it on their own 33. There's 3 minutes left to go in the first half. Stidham in the shotgun. Drops way back. He's getting chased backwards. He does a little shot put type of thing, and it's ruled an incomplete pass at first. But if you go back and watch the replay, his arms got smacked forward. It's a fumble. Patriots pick it up, of course, because it was whistled dead on the play. They would have returned it for a touchdown, but it was whistled dead. So they have it at the 12-yard line, gift wrap touchdown. That's the only way the Patriots were going to score a touchdown in this game. Gift wrap touchdown. 2 plays later, first of all, made a booty for 6 yards, and then May runs it in himself from 6 yards out. Beats him to the right pylon. 7-7 game, 2:10 left in the first half. Somehow, both teams would get it 2 more times in the first half. And Lutz missed from 54 with 24 seconds left, and Andy Borregales missed from 63 as time expired in the half. It's 7-7 at halftime. So, out of halftime, what happens? They come back to the broadcast, and what happens? Something has changed about this game in the 15 minutes that they were at half.
Yeah, the weather got real dicey real quick.
It got dicey, and of course, folks, as you know, I hate this cat so much. As you know, folks, this is a New England-based show. I don't know what gives it away every week, but it's a New England-based show. We were getting pummeled with 1.5 feet of snow at the same time this game was going on, and it starts coming down in Denver too. And you're like, well, this makes sense, right? So throw this wrinkle into a game that has no offense already. Coming out of the half, the Patriots have a crucial drive. They're actually able to move it all the way down the field. They take 9.5 minutes off the clock, which at the time ended up being huge.
That was the biggest part of the game, is the fact that they were able to eat that much clock. Because at the beginning of the half, the weather hadn't completely turned yet. You know what I mean? It was snowing, but it wasn't like pretty much as soon as
they could still run, they could still cut and everything. Like that went away in the fourth quarter for sure. But they were able to move it down. And I remember texting people at the time and saying they really needed to get 7 out of that. Turns out they didn't, but we didn't know that at the time. So they get a chip shot 23-yarder after chewing up legitimately 9.5 minutes of the third quarter. Exactly what they ended up needing to do in a game that really came down to time of possession at the end. 10-7 Patriots. 5.5 minutes to go in the third. Denver goes 3 and out. New England gets it back. At this point, now the field's covered in snow. Now it's really coming down. 31-yard flea flicker to Matt Collins. They had to scheme up something, but it works. That's most of the drive. They end up with a 46-yard attempt, but it's no good as now the wind and snow are overpowering. Josh, they then traded punts on the next 4 possessions because no one could do anything with the football. No one could do a damn thing. There was a handoff play where Stevenson is going to get the football and he falls on his face before May can even get the ball to him. So they can't move. And apparently, the alternate cleats, the real spikes, I guess that's not a thing anymore. Apparently that's not a thing. So that's what I heard. That's what I've heard. I don't know. But anyway, Lutz has a field goal attempt for Denver. It gets partially blocked and it's no good, but the Pats have to punt again. And the second play of the Broncos' ensuing drive, we're now down to 2.5 minutes to go in the game, and something crucial happens here where the Broncos decide, I think it was to add a third tight end. They sub in a third tight end for a big set, which means that the Patriots have the opportunity to match. And Vrabel's guys took their time getting on and off the field. Let's just put it that way. That's fine. It's completely legal. It's fine. But of course they did. So the ref has to hold the judge or whatever, the line judge or whoever it is, has to hold that football until everybody's lined up and everybody's off the field. So Stidham finally gets into his cadence with like 5 seconds left on the play clock. He has to snap it, and he makes a rookie mistake. He makes an inexperienced quarterback in driving wind and snow. He throws up a lob up for, I forget which receiver it was. I think it might have been Mims, but it doesn't matter who it was. It was Marvin Mims, but it doesn't matter because Christian Gonzalez is playing center field, and he's just sitting back there, and it drops right in the breadbasket. So the Patriots pick it off. 2 minutes to go. 2:11 to go. I'm sorry. The Broncos still had, I believe, one timeout in the 2-minute warning. That's it. Just one timeout. So New England basically needs a first down. And that's it. And out of the 2-minute warning, Denver uses their last timeout with 1:57 to go. It's a 3rd and 6. And Drake May calls his own number. Everything about this play was sold to the right. It looked like it was a Stevenson run off right guard. May bootlegs out to the left and just barely picks up the 6 yards. He gets 7, gets the first down. And the New England Patriots are AFC champions and going back to the Super Bowl. Josh, I know you're thrilled about this development, aren't you?
I mean, it's been 5 days, so I'm over it at this point. But
I was texting you, and oddly enough, you were the only person who would not answer me at the time.
I was like watching the game. It was puke football at the end, and
it was terrible. It was awful. It was, but
you don't want to see that in the AFC Championship. But unfortunately, that's just the way it goes.
But I don't want to see every team in a dome either. Just saying.
No, I agree. Like that, but that's great for like regular season football. Like those are fun games. You know what I mean? Those last 2 quarters were just gross football. And
yes, they were.
To go to the Super Bowl, it's like, oh, this isn't what I want to watch. Like the game we're going to talk about next, that's the kind of game you want to watch, to see who's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time I'm watching this game, I'm just thinking about how many conversations we've had about coaching. Like,
yeah, it happened again. And Sean Payton, there's no excuse for Sean Payton.
No.
That's 2 critical mistakes. You have been a head coach in this league for 21 years now or something like that, or 22. There's no excuse. Backup quarterback, you go for it on 4th and 1 when you have easy points right in front of you. And then what are you doing subbing in that spot? When he's already in the shotgun and you're bringing a 3rd tight end? I don't get it.
Yeah. Just huge mistakes. And the 4th and 1 to me is just the biggest because it's like, your defense is so good. Yeah. You're at home, and you're like, no. And here's the thing. So say you get that first down. It's not like you're within the 10, right? You're not in goal-to-go position. So you like when the Patriots went for it, right? The Patriots went for it in the 3rd. Your goal-to-go, you're thinking, we're going to score a touchdown if we get this first. You're on like the 18-yard line. So you still have to get another 18 yards. To me, it doesn't make sense to go, okay, yeah, we'll go for this 4th down, and then say you lose yards, say you take a sack, say you get a holding penalty. You're now farther away. To me, it's mind-boggling, and it's the reason they lost. They might still be playing that game right now if he kicks the field goal. We're looking at a 10-10 game.
Yeah, and I mean, no one. I think that no one would have scored points in those conditions. The ball, it would have had to have stopped snowing. That's the only way.
Exactly.
That game might have been triple overtime. We'll never know, right? I guess we'll never know. Kanye West holds up the trophy. I guess we'll never know. But hey, listen. I said this when they beat the Texans, super ugly. The game before this, they don't ask how. They ask how many, and we're going back, and I have told you people a million times I am not that honk on this show, but I would completely be lying to you if I wasn't absolutely overjoyed because we're
and you should be.
Yeah, I mean, your team's in the Super Bowl, but it's like it's an NFL record 12th Super Bowl appearance for the New England Patriots. It's unbelievable. It is, and I was snowed in with a guy at work. He was on the radio side. We were there overnight. Whatever. We're watching these. Hopefully nobody from work's watching this. I just admitted we were watching the game, but my COO said it was cool. So thanks, MC. Appreciate that. But I was telling him, like, I'm just like shaking my head and laughing. And I'm like, dude, it's really not fair. It's just not. This is terrible. Like this is amazing, but like it's awful. Like it's awful. You know what I mean? Like yeah. So anyway, Pats in the Super Bowl, right? So ugly ass game, but again, they have not had a pretty route to this Super Bowl, which is making a lot of people believe, and I think foolishly, just a little tease, not going to talk about it right now, but you are foolish and you're mistaken if you're going to count this team out at this point because they just went through 3 top 5 defenses. I know they barely scored any points, but still, they're there. Now let's talk about maybe the real Super Bowl, which I'm sure a lot of people thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I've heard a lot of people, media pundits say that. Like, don't be an idiot. The Super Bowl is still the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, you know how it goes. Everybody, but it's cute because this is exactly how it was at first when the Patriots first made it under Belichick and Brady for the first time. No one gave them a chance.
I will say this team and that 2001 team, their playoff runs are eerily similar.
They're very similar. They are not 14-point underdogs in the Super Bowl, though, like they were.
They're not 14 points.
Not 14 points. Not in this day and age in the playoffs. So, yeah. Rams Seahawks coming on a half hour after the conclusion of the Snow Bowl out in Denver. There was no weather to affect this game, thankfully. Real good game here. A back and forth affair. I'll pick it up at 17-13 because that's where a critical mistake was made by the Rams punt returner, Xavier Smith. Do I have that right? I walk me through exactly what happens with Xavier Smith on this punt return as the Rams are already down 17-13, please.
Man, and I love Sean McVay as a coach. I think he's a really good coach. But man, when you saw him muff one earlier in the game, I get it. You don't want to like hurt people's, confidence or whatever you want to call it. But if I'm in an NFC Championship game, especially me being a Niners fan, like I remember Kyle Williams, if I see him muff one, that boy is sitting down and he ain't playing. It's no, we need someone sure-handed. We can't take a chance that you're going to do exactly what you ended up doing, taking one off the face mask and giving the ball to the
What?
I can't.
I needed another opportunity to take the Darnold jersey out. And
I
didn't mean to kill your momentum. I was going to wait till you finish your point.
Well, I was just about to. They gave the ball in the red area to a really good offense, and boom! It turned the tides of the game.
It really did because as there was a point in this game where it didn't look like anybody was going to stop anybody, and that was really from the middle of the second until the end of the third, right? So what happens is the Rams are Seattle recovers it on the Rams 17-yard line, and the next play, oh no, it's Jake Bobo for 17 yards and a touchdown. So it's 24-13 Seattle, but still 12:02 left in the third, so there's plenty of time. And the Rams weren't going away quietly at all because Seattle's pass defense got shredded in part for parts of this game. Both pass defenses did, but I told you to expect that from the Rams. But Stafford's had his way with them in all 3 matchups this season. Older quarterback, he's seen everything. Brady mentioned it in the broadcast because he kind of pretty much, intimated that like he did the same exact stuff because there was no defense you could throw at Brady that fooled him. It was just a matter of whether he screwed up or not. That's why he played until he was 44. So, whatever. But the Rams would answer quickly. Stafford's precision on full display. 4 plays, 75 yards, just 2 minutes and 15 seconds. A 2-yard touchdown to Devontae Adams. A nice route by Adams to get open in the left side of the end zone. 24-29, 41 left in the third. But Big D Sam Darnold, baby. How stupid do you feel, Vikings? We'll talk about that in a minute. Just like you accurately hinted at last week, and boy, do they feel stupid. Too much for the Rams' eroding defense on this night was Big D Sam Darnold, who indeed does have big brass balls. 5 out of 6 for 53 yards and a 13-yard touchdown. Revenge game. Cooper Kupp kind of out of nowhere. Hadn't done like anything since week 2. Seattle's back up 31-20. But through 3 quarters, Stafford did look pretty unstoppable himself. He responds by hitting Adams for 35. A couple of defensive penalties get the Rams an extra 15. And then he hits Nakua on this was a gorgeous throw, a 34-yard touchdown, just a beauty. Something they put on NFL films, I'm sure. A 34-yard touchdown strike to the left pylon. It's Puka Nakua, of course, reeling it in. And it's 31-27 Seattle, 2:06 left in the third. But then people forget how to score. So fourth quarter, I don't know what happened. Maybe you got some insight. But in the fourth quarter, 8 plays, Seattle punts. Rams hold it for 15 plays and down to the Seattle 6, down by 4 points. And what happens here?
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the actual NFL Films video of it. It was actually a busted coverage. Dexter Lawrence, the defensive end for Seattle, was actually supposed to rush the passer, but noticed that the linebacker got beat off the line and dropped back into coverage to cover Kyren Williams. If you watch the all 22 of the play, Kyren Williams is going to be wide open on this play, running a little wheel route out of the backfield, and that was Matt Stafford's first read. But because Dexter Lawrence knew that he had to get back there, he drops back into coverage instead of rushing, and because of it, Stafford has to hold on to the ball. And it only ended up being a 2-man rush because 2 defensive ends dropped into coverage. And NFL Films actually has Mike McDonald on film, like, yelling, "Where's the end? Where's the end?" Because he didn't rush. And it's just, I guess you get lucky sometimes, and they don't score on 4th and 4. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I think they really didn't have a choice. I think they had to go for it there. 3 points really isn't going to do much for you. And your defense couldn't stop Seattle for the most part. Their run game was pretty dominant. And so wasn't their pass game. Just the Rams really didn't have an answer for Seattle.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but they had just forced him to punt the possession before. I mean, to me, hindsight's always 2020. It's very easy to second guess. The feel of the game, it's more excusable than what Sean Payton did.
Yeah.
Right? It is. And I know that you love Sean McVay and all that. But if you pull to within 3 and you do happen to make a stop, which they didn't until it was really too late, but let's say they happen to make a stop, now you only need the field goal at the end. Hindsight's 2020. Either way, they go for it, 4th down. Both teams still have all 3 timeouts. And Seattle would, once again, couldn't really be stopped. 4 first downs, essentially, they never gave the ball back. They did with like 25 seconds left and no timeouts for the Rams. And instead of needing only that field goal, the Rams needed a touchdown, but they'd only advance to their own 30 anyway. That's ball game. 31-27 Seahawks. Seahawks versus the New England Patriots in a rematch of Super Bowl 49, which was perhaps, I've heard Patriots fans argue this, one of them that's definitely going to be watching this at some point, perhaps the greatest Super Bowl ever played. It's up there. It's one of them. It's certainly up there. It's on the short list. But
I remember watching that with my pops, and obviously I hated both teams, so I was like, oh man,
understandable.
So especially because the Seahawks, no, that was the year before. They had knocked out the Niners in the NFC Championship the year before. So
yes,
there was a heated rivalry there. And then, of course, being in New England and not being a Pats fan makes it very hard to not root against the Pats in the Super Bowl. And I was just watching as a fan of football. And to watch as just a fan of football, it was an amazing game. Like, it was a really awesome game to watch. The ending, I remember when Malcolm Butler picked it off just screaming, they threw it, because to me it was shocking that they didn't just try to run it down their throats. And still one of the best finishes to a Super Bowl you're probably ever going to see.
It was certainly epic for us, we Pats fans, and your point about it being, frankly, probably nauseating to be a fan of another team in New England when the Pats are doing this well. I get it. There's a reason why I'm not such a douche like a lot of our fans are. There's a reason, because I don't want to be one of those. It's hard not to be excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get it, especially with it's like over and over and over, and then like, oh, it was such a long 7 years and now we're back. with another coach and another quarterback, like, dude, I'd be pissed too. Like, I'd be mad too. I would be. But man, that was a great game. But the swing of emotions for just for us, because if you remember, and actually they had the game on at an establishment I was at last night.
Are you going to mention the curse play?
That's what I'm about to thank you. I'm about to mention the fact that Wilson just chucks up a prayer ball down the right sideline to Jermaine Kearse. It gets batted around. He tips it up in the air. It falls in his crotch, and he's able to snag it and haul it in. And for us, having lost 2 Super Bowls to the Giants in the way that we lost them, you're starting to think Brady's never going to win. He's never going to win another. Brady will never win another one. He'll win 3 at the beginning of his year, and it's never going to happen again. It's not meant to be. That's what we were all thinking. I was in a room of like 15, 20 people, and it was dead silent. Dead silent. And then what happens 2 plays later? So I've watched the NFL film sting because it's been coming up on Twitter this week, as you would expect, where it's Belichick and Patricia and McDaniel, all of them, and Brian Flores explaining that they basically baited Seattle into throwing. They did a heavy goal line set and made it appear as though they were all in on stopping the run. And they practiced the play over and over, and Malcolm Butler got beat every single time in practice. But on that one play, Brandon Browner told him, I'm going to stuff this guy at the line. You got to get there. Kid got there. Unbelievable. Just incredible. I just got chills just describing that.
I did as well, because I remember watching it and just like being in complete shock. Like my dad and I are looking at each other like, he threw it. Like,
yeah, you're just looking at each other like did that really just? And I mean, for us, like there were like 10 of us, like in the biggest group man hug of all time. It's like, whoa, jumping up and down. I'll never forget that moment. That was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you still got Richard Sherman sometimes on TNF when he makes a joke, yelling, "Run the damn ball!"
Oh yeah, and then like you had Marshawn Lynch like in the season opening episode of the league the next year, and it's him and Kevin on the beach, and Kevin's like, "I'm just gonna throw the beer over to Pete or whatever," and Marshawn's like, "No, just let me run it. I'll just run it over there." Nah, I'm gonna throw it, and then I think he ends up on fire or something. Like it's pretty. I'm just saying, like, they're not afraid to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely didn't love Russell Wilson, and I don't think they loved Pete by the end of it either. So, man, that was epic, though. I realize we just spent 10 minutes on that, but that's okay. It's going to be, listen, folks, all I'm going to say is that I have a friend, again, the same friend that thinks that that's the greatest Super Bowl of all time, also thinks Seattle's going to beat the bag out of the Pats, and he's a Pats fan. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's going to be a 1-score game. That's all I can say, but it's not going to happen. So, speaking of Sam Darnold, this is my gag jersey from last year. It turns out he was really good last year. Maybe it wasn't so much Sam choking. Maybe it was because they could not block the the LA Rams to save their lives in that playoff game. Didn't he get sacked 9 times? Like,
yeah, in the week before that, too, against the Lions, they were all over him.
They were, right. So the offensive line for the Vikings was the real culprit. But because we invested the 10th pick in the draft on J.J. McCarthy, or the 10th pick, right? I think it was the 10th pick. Whatever the case. Huh?
Was it the 10th?
It was either the 6th or the 10th. I don't. Doesn't matter. They invested that draft capital, even though he was not a prolific passer in college. We've been over the J.J. McCarthy thing. We don't like J.J. McCarthy on this show. He's a bum. They let this guy walk out the door. And 1 year later, just like, by the way, if Darnold pulls it off, just like when a certain owner and coach let the greatest quarterback walk out the door, the greatest ever to do it, and in the next year he goes and wins the Super Bowl and shoves it up your ass. Don't think Sam Darnold hasn't thought about that. I'm just saying. So
he definitely has.
So the Vikings fired their general manager today. As I'm doing show prep, about an hour before we start recording, maybe an hour and a half, I get the Schefter banner across the phone. Vikings fire general manager, and I started laughing. And then within 10 minutes, you texted me. I'm like, the timing couldn't be better. You know what I mean? Not for this show. It couldn't be better. So I wonder why they fired that general manager.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You make a decision to keep that kid. And that's the thing. Darnold he didn't even cost that much. He's not even in the upper tier as a quarterback. I think he's making $30 million.
Yeah, which is that's bargain for a
Right?
guy that's
For a guy that's now won 28 games in 2 seasons?
Is it only 28? You're only talking about regular season.
Regular season.
Back to back four. So he's the first, I think
First quarterback.
he's the only quarterback ever to win back-to-back 14-win seasons with 2 different teams. Only one ever to do it. And he's won 16 games now. So, listen, if people think that version of Sam Darnold that was seeing ghosts in 2019 or whatever it was back at Gillette Stadium against the Belichick defense, I don't think that's what we're going to see. But again, can't really talk about it. So anyway, Vikings fired their general manager because of this guy showing them up. And you can't convince me otherwise. Okay, Josh, I noticed that you are wearing, so we got a little rapid fire the rest of the show, folks. Josh is almost like he remembered what I said last week. And we were going to do a little bit of Celtics stuff and a little bit of Bruins stuff on this show because we haven't touched them. And they're 2/3 of the way through their respective seasons, more or less. So the Celtics
are around 50 games at this point.
47 for the Celtics. They are 29-18, sir. 29-18 with no Jason
I know these
Tatum.
2 really smart guys on a podcast that told you to hammer that 41.5.
Yes, and then that same smart guy on the podcast, at least this one, didn't do it. Because I was getting paid the day after the season started. I wanted to make a big bet. Instead, I made no bet. Profit is profit, moron. But anyway, the Celtics are 29-18. So they're going to win 13 more of their next 34 games to cash that bet. That's as easy as it gets.
And possibly getting an all-world player back.
Well, you say that, but it just came out yesterday that now Jason Tatum's thinking about he's for some reason he's changed his mind. He's thinking about sitting out all year now. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I did not.
So that's news to you. What's your reaction to that? Do you think it's because there was something physical? Do you think it's because they're over the luxury tax if he comes back? What do you think?
I mean, maybe cooler
Not to put you on the
heads.
spot.
Well, no, but maybe cooler heads have spoken to him and said, "Hey, don't commit to coming back. Let's, because they are playing so well, maybe they're telling him there's no rush, right? You could come back very end of the year, play the playoffs, or a week or 2 before, and we'll diagnose it then." They're only above that first tax though, right? They're not in the second apron.
Yes.
So that gives them the ability to get an MLE, right? They can get the mid-level.
That's
so
right.
I mean, you got the deadline coming up and stuff like that. We'll see what they do, but I mean, I think if they see, hey, we win 50 games with this team. I mean, I don't think they can win a championship without him, but
that's the thing.
Maybe they tell them to hold off as long as possible, and they'll, the closer we get to the end of the year, then they'll make a more informed decision.
Yeah, I think that's a good, not bad. That's pretty good take on the spot, to be honest with you. And yeah, that would make more sense than committing to it, in February when they still have, again, 34 games left. 35 actually. I'm sorry. What's 47 and 35 is 82. Yeah, good job. 35 games left. Oh, and by the way, well, there's 2 things. Actually, there's 3. The first thing is it was reported last night also that they are looking to trade Anthony Simons, who's making a lot of money. They're looking to trade him. See? So maybe they are trying to wiggle around. I don't know. Then you have the fact that what a job that Joe Mazzulla is doing here. When a lot of people thought he could only coach super stacked teams.
I was going to say, can we get a shout out for Joe? Because there's so many haters that, oh, yeah, well, he's not actually a good coach.
Nope, that's our psycho. That's our Rhode Island native psycho, Joe Mazzulla. Absolutely. He's awesome. Love that guy. And finally, Jaylen Brown's first team All-NBA right now. He's averaging just under 30 a game, just under 7 rebounds, and basically 5 assists per game. He's doing it all. Oh, and by the way, he leads the league in 2-point shots attempted per game. Did you know that?
Well, I know their offensive efficiency is the best it's been. I think they might still be number 1 in the NBA for overall efficiency. And you know what? If that's your bread and butter, don't let Joe Mazzulla tell you to take threes. Like, I get that's what the analytics say, but if you're comfortable for 18 feet, do it. Like, if that makes you a better player, that's what I want to see. I think Tatum should do the same thing. I think Tatum takes too many threes. When he came out of Duke, he was a mid-range shooter. That's what he did. I have no problem with them playing offense under the 3-point line or, foul line extended if you're a better team because of it.
Yeah, we just sound like broken records and old farts at this point because we've been bitching about this as long as this show has been around, and it's not going to change. But their efficiency rating is better. Brown is taking 16 and a half 2-point attempts per game. That's
And I'd like to see how many are like within the paint because when he gets downhill, man, he is tough to stop.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a year. He's proven himself to be that guy, really.
Yeah, to be 305 million worth.
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, he got the bag and now he's showing that he's worth it. So what that holds for future years, I don't know. But right now, we like where the Celtics are sitting. And they are tied for second in the Eastern Conference with the New York Knicks at 19 or 29 and 18. So the Celtics looking good. Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins also exceeding some expectations this year, though not quite as comfortably as the Celtics. But my Boston Bruins are tied for third in the Atlantic Division with 67 points. They're tied with two other teams. They are 32, 20, and 3. They would currently be the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. And most surprisingly to me, Josh, they are 4th in the league in goal scoring. 4th. That's impressive. Morgan Geekie has 30. And to think that Jim Montgomery was benching that guy. Healthy scratches, Morgan Geekie. David Pasternak having another unreal season, turning into more of a complete player. 22 goals.
Say, he's playing out of his mind.
It's ridiculous. He's 47 assists in 53 games. I'm sorry. Yeah, 55 games. 47 assists in 55 games. He has 22 goals. Pavel Zacha has 15. And then it's 2 trade deadline acquisitions from last year. You have Fraser Minton with 14 out of the Toronto system. And my favorite name on the team this year, Marat Husnadinov, has 12 on the third line. Oh, and free agent signing Victor Arvidsson, he has 13. So this team can score. Unfortunately, defensive goaltending still an issue, Josh. Goalies are a collective 900 save percentage even. That's not very good. And they are in the bottom half of the league in goals allowed. But a plucky, fun little Bruins team that I didn't think we were going to have this year.
Yeah, I just actually, was it last night, right? They put up 6 goals last night.
That's correct, yes. And they got
I got to watch some of that last night. Now that football is done and it's not on every other freaking night.
It's a lot.
You can kind of watch some of your other teams finally, and it's nice to be able to do that. But yeah, like, what are we really thinking about the goal score, the defensive situation? You're paying your goalie tops in the NHL. What are we thinking about that? Like, where do we go from here?
I definitely don't think they have enough on the right side defensively, right? Right shot, right side defenseman is a problem. After McAvoy, it's a problem. They don't have a lot of defensive depth, but I can't blame it all on them. Swayman is not showing to be the guy that we thought he was when Allmark was still here. And, everyone's favorite rat now, apparently, Linus Allmark up in Ottawa, ratting out all the boys for cheating on their wives and stuff. But when those two were together, they were pretty unstoppable. And Swayman looked like, yeah, sure, give him the keys. He's ready, right? And they gave him the bag after he dicked around and he held out until training camp started last year. He was never ready to go last year.
Yeah, and we gave him a pass. We gave him a pass because we knew, you didn't play in the beginning of the year. You were never really in hockey shape. But what's your excuse this year?
There's no excuse this year. Can't be. He's, I think, a 905 or something, or a 903. And Corpusalo, who's supposed to be a backup, right, is 895. So not quite good enough from the goaltending tandem. I do wonder if, and I'm just going to look this up really quickly if I can. I should have had this already. Bruins salary cap, because I want to see them add. But as we know, they're routinely in cap jail.
I was going to say, they're usually right around that 88 million or whatever it is, right around the ceiling.
Yes. So right now they are nine. It looks like 9.75 million under. But on the injured list, you've got 6.5. So they really aren't that far under, but they could possibly make an ad. But Hampus Lindholm once again hurt. Guy's always hurt.
I was gonna say he's been
Always
the
hurt.
last
He's
couple
a
of years.
$6.5 million cap hit, but he's not on long-term IR, so I think that does count towards the active cap. It's saying, however, that they only have $570,000 in cap space. So typical Bruins, and that's Spotrac, which I find very reliable. So typical Bruins probably can't do anything at the deadline, but Sweeney is actually pretty good at the deadline. So we'll see. One of the only things he is good at as a general manager. All right. We're at about an hour here, believe it or not. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We started like 45 minutes ago. That's not too bad. Just one more topic to discuss. It came out. I have to be careful. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday it came out? It was Tuesday. It comes out on Tuesday. It gets leaked because, first of all, this stuff is not supposed to come out. But it did. That Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. I didn't give you any of the credentials, which I will. I haven't said anything. But Bill Belichick is not, according to the 50 voters, he did not get 40 out of 50 votes that he needed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, according to weenies with pencils and pads, and clearly too many hurt feelings and unresolved daddy issues. Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy when you say it out loud. It really is. I did hear maybe the most defensible argument that I heard, right? Because I guess this senior committee, right? There are 3 players on that ballot, correct? And they're like ushered in, right? If they played before 2000. So they qualify, only, I guess, for that year. And then they'd have to get voted back onto the ballot. One of the voters did say, like, I didn't vote for Bill. I voted for the 3 players because I think those 3 players should be in the Hall of Fame. And so I was like, okay, that's actually, to me, that's defensible. Like, the Hall of Fame is more so for players than it is owners and coaches. And don't get me wrong, coaches are obviously a huge part of the game. But if you're going to make the argument, like, I truly believe those 3 players should be in the Hall of Fame, I get it. But if you're saying, oh, it's because of Spygate and it's because of that, it's like there's no morality clause in the NFL Hall of Fame. You're judging it off of credentials. That's it. I don't care if you like the person. I don't care if the person was a jerk. A la T.O. Took T.O. way too long to get in. One of the best receivers to ever play.
Top 3 wide receiver all time. It took T.O. 3 years to get in. That's a joke. That's a joke.
You know what I mean?
It's
so it's like you said, like weenies with pencils. It's guys on a power trip. Like when the kid who gets bullied becomes a cop and he just starts like pulling everyone over with that. That kind of feels like what the NFL Hall of Fame writers are doing right now. Like, oh, guess what, Bill? We're going to stick it to you. And if anything, you just make your Hall of Fame look like a joke and you make people feel bad for maybe one of the most churlish coaches that has ever coached. He was always churlish with the media. He was always kind of a stickler. And like, again, unless you were a Pats fan, you kind of hated it. You were like, dude, just answer the woman's question. Just answer the guy's question. But you've actually made people more sympathetic to him now than any of you media dumbasses.
Yeah, everything that you just said is true. Tell me who the 3 players are. Roger Craig's one of them.
L.C. Greenwood, who was one of the biggest parts of the 1970s Steel Curtain. I think he should be in. Roger Craig, might be a little biased, but first 1,000 back, kind of changed the running back position. I think he should be in. Kenny Anderson, 1981 MVP for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, give me a
argument
break.
could be made there.
Give me a break, man.
I just said an argument could be made there. He does have an MVP, but And he did go to a Super Bowl. I mean, he lost to a specific team that I may or may not root
We know
for.
who he lost to.
Well, I mean, 1981. There's a lot of people watching this show that don't know who won that Super Bowl.
The
But
49ers won that Super Bowl.
yes,
Okay.
it did. Yes, it
Yeah.
did.
Oh, that's because of the team he lost to. There's an argument he should get in before
No,
Bill.
no, 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 no. I'm saying there's an argument to be made for him. He was an MVP. He was a Super Bowl quarterback, but he's, in my opinion, he has the least of the argument to be put in.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, you have got other Hall of Fame coaches coming out and defending Bill Belichick over this. Jimmy Johnson is on a warpath. He's pissed. Okay? And him, Bill Cowher, and Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan belongs in the Hall of Fame. Don't know why he isn't in yet. And now he's gonna have to wait another year because they're gonna vote Bill in next year. Like they just slapped him on the wee and said, you're not gonna be a first ballot. How many guys have come out and said? Lawrence Taylor comes out and says if Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, the Hall of Fame's bullshit. Tom Brady said the same thing. If Coach Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is? I don't know, man. But I realize those are guys that played for him, but okay, fine. He has 8 rings, 2 as a DC, and 6 as a head coach, which is more than anybody, obviously. And he's been to 3 more as a head coach. So he's been at 9 as a head coach. Okay. 31 playoff wins is the most all time. 333 total wins is the second most wins all time. Am I missing something here? Yeah. Grade A jerk. Yes. We all kind of loved him when he was here and he was winning because we're all kind of the same way. We're Northeasterners. We're the most miserable pricks on the planet sometimes. And he was perfect for us. Sometimes you had to laugh at how truly petty he was. And sometimes you just loved him for it.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Tom Brady said, are you going to reevaluate the quarterback position after that? It was after that blowout in Kansas City. He just laughed. Just laughed at him. Tom Brady's our starting quarterback. We're on to Cincinnati. It was great. It's just every question we're on to Cincinnati. But my goodness, just even people that got their asses kicked by him, a lot of them have come out in support of him. A lot of them have. Kurt Warner, not one of them. It blows you away. And I get it. It's sort of for the players. But what this has done by not voting him in, it does make Mike Shanahan wait another year or two, by the way, because they'll only vote one coach, one contributor. There's also a conspiracy theory that we talked about, which I think is mostly BS, that maybe Kraft went to his buddy Bill Polian behind the scenes and was like, hey, you should tell people not to vote for Bill because I don't want to be on the same stage as him. I'm not saying Kraft wouldn't do something like that. But it would be really conniving and awfully two-faced because the same day that he doesn't get in and it's announced, Kraft puts up this loving statement about Bill, saying how he belongs in. Of course, the first thing he said was, despite our differences, he still said Bill belongs in first ballot. I don't know what to say because what's done is done. And a lot of these guys are publishing what their votes are. I've heard people like TJ Hushman-Zeta said this on a podcast with Emmanuel Ochoa, right?
Yeah.
He literally said those people should have their voting rights taken away. He's not the only one that said it. But it's not just that, but I'm not even talking about the people. He said the people that didn't vote for Belichick. But these guys are violating their bylaws by telling people what their votes are. That's literally a violation of the bylaw. These people are supposed to lose their votes. And this is why some of them are too scared to talk. But it's unfathomable to me. And what else is weird is that there's only 2 Patriots players from all these teams that are in the Hall of Fame that won all these Super Bowls. You're telling me there's only 2?
Seymour and Law? Is it just Seymour and Law?
That's it. And meanwhile, Bill Polian's teams that won 1 Super Bowl Well, those Colts teams have 7.
Wow.
And I grant that they were great players because they were. The disrespect, and it's and you brought up Spygate. I can't not mention that. I started with that by saying that other Hall of Fame coaches said that we did the same exact thing. We did the same thing. It didn't provide that much of an advantage, whatever. I don't know the real answer to what kind of advantage it provided. Now, did they do it to the level that Bill did it to? Probably not, right? You don't dress up coaches in craft productions. Like, that's some real shady shit. And it is. That's my swear quota for the show. But still, take that away. Take that away. Fine. He went to 5 more and won. He went to 6 more and won 3 of them. He's he's a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. He is. Sorry.
Absolutely.
So
anyway. And I wonder if maybe because of something like this, they change that senior committee where it's like, okay, we take those 3 players, you can vote on them, and then the coaches and contributor are now separate. Like you can vote for one contributor, one coach to get in, and if they pass the vote, they pass the vote. But there's no cap. You don't have to pick 3 out of 5 because that's really what it is. You have to pick out of those 5, the 3 players and the coach and contributor. You have to pick 3 of them. Like you can.
I think it's a maximum of 3.
Exactly. So you can only vote. So maybe they change that and they say, the 3 players, you can vote on them separately. The contributor and the coach, you vote on them separately, and then the modern finalists.
Yeah.
Why do we have to pick? Why should the coach, have to compete with the players? They're different.
Yeah. And that's probably the only thing that baseball does right is if, it hasn't happened in a long time, right? Because they won't let any of the steroid guys in, except some that they're letting in. Right. But baseball, 12 guys can get in because the ballot's like 20 deep. If 12, 13, if they all get 80% of the vote, there's no limit to how many can get in. That's the biggest problem that football has. I think you're right. It will. I'm not sure that you're right, but I agree with you, and it should change because this sort of thing shouldn't happen. And yeah, you were right. The last thing you said in your point before you handed it over to me was that and I said this earlier on as well, they made Bill into a guy that you kind of feel bad for, right? And nobody ever would have imagined that. I haven't seen so much unity on one subject about one person on Twitter like ever. I've never seen it, and it's friggin' Bill Belichick. That's where it's at. It's 2026, folks. Do you have anything else to add about this, or you think we're good? I think we're okay.
I think we did a great job today.
Thank you. I agree. I think you did a great job as well. No, you know what? You should. You should be proud of your efforts today. And, of course, thank you for being on the show. This is
Thanks
Big
for having
D.
me, sir, as always.
Oh, well, of course. Yes, and we will do this 2 more times. 2 more times. We'll have our previews and our thoughts on the big game. We'll break down as much of it as we can. Probably the longest breakdown we'll do all season, obviously, because it's one game and it's for all the marbles. 2 teams that Josh hates, but I know he will still be objective, and that's good enough for me. Folks, tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised, and also it is damn cold out there, especially if you're from around here. Frankly, it's absurd, and we've had plenty of bad winters up here, but this is absurd. If you see poor little kitty cats or even maybe people like driving to a shelter or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you want to take. I'm trying to send the right message here, but it's not coming out right. But a kid that I work with, he said that they saved a little kitty cat during the snowstorm. I thought that was adorable. So tell somebody you love them today. Tomorrow is not promised. And we'll be back. I don't know what day we'll be back next week because it's a Super Bowl preview. Probably next Friday, I would think. We'll do a Friday show. And that'll be that, folks. So, Josh, thank you again. We'll talk after this. And, folks, we'll be back next week on the Terranadome. Everybody have a nice week. Try and stay warm. And last of all, go Pats. Peace.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. 'Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo. America, Scotland, and Canada, and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. In Joe Hendry.